Alright, time to fulfill a promise I made forever ago to Hawk. When was it? Alright, September 28th of 2020, and it is now January 23rd of 2021, so that was like 3 months ago that I made this promise to cast a game, but I never got to it for various reasons, but here we go. Let's see, load it up. And let's see what it is. Alright, it's a 2v2 on Storm. It's Sport87Recife and hawk485 on the Carbon team, left side on Storm. And on the right side, the blue team, it is ProProProPro against happydeath. They're both blue. ProProProPro, and they all spray in happydeath in the Raptor Neo. And let's see. Looks like both teams are shooting the neutrals. Yep. Armadillo for their tank choice. One Bucky up. happydeath going for Gemini. And yep, Bucky support. Tanks move up for the capture, nothing special. happydeath looks like it's gonna go for a Bucky harass of some sort. And a Bucky drop against 4 tanks, it dies, and he doesn't get much harass off. Both teams about to get their back post, and they're... oh, I see, they're trying to harass him. Counter harass. And then he comes back. Yep, nothing clear, so we can't put the creeps there yet, and Carbon right now ahead. Don't know if any of their units die, doesn't look like it, they're just smoking. And yep, the Bucky train is there, just to show off how much faster and efficient it is to use tanks instead of using other units, and even harassing off that. Sergeant drop here, doesn't do much, and they shoo him away. Generators on outposts, 1 on each. And let's see, the Buckies are not doing anything here, tanks haven't moved. Carbon ahead on that Goliath kill, but they've taken a while to kept that back, and now they're gonna put more creeps. happydeath comes with a Neo and attacks it a bit. And let's see. And they're just flying around. Checking one thing. Alright. ProProProPro moving up, and happydeath harassing again dies. That's 1 Devastator kill. That's what I will say, that's how much a mech to mech kill would be worth. Oh, that's not a unit kill anyway, so Gaddy's magically shooting the Bucky, and then yeah, it's just 1 tank and a couple of Buckies versus Gaddy, so Carbon has good units here. Killing like a melee mech should do. We got a generator drop, and blue pulls back after losing 2 tanks. Buckies and Carbon didn't lose anything, so they're ahead right now. Harass up here. Will Carbon notice? These Sam should get vision to see that, but if they don't catch it, it's just gonna go neutral, and Sport dies there. And it's a mech to mech, so that's a Devastator worth. happydeath trying to harass. They got that generator kill, and they got the low ground Tesla, which is doing work. It's an AirMech. Elevation's kind of weird, and for some reason there's a unit that can use low ground, and then this double tank is now being cleaned up now. And now Carbon's being pushed back with these butcher drops, which they didn't have any counter to. They only have tanks out right now. And they were dropped when Sport was dead, and he's the only real mech with a good anti-ground. And yep, got Tesla able to finish it off himself, and infantry in the outpost almost able to stop that themselves. For Archie, no tanks as support, so those are going to die real quick if they're focused. Yep, 2. It's a nice trade for those butchers. And tanks and turrets. Whatever. Alright. 1 Buster move up, and as predicted, the Neo just jumps for it. That's healed up. And Sport going for a Tesla drop, and that Neo melee strong enough to almost kill those 2 Archies. Tesla's in trouble. They saved it. Carbon hasn't lost any units here yet, but they can quickly start losing unless they distract them like that. Tanks up on the high ground and getting killed. Yep, the bus doing a lot of damage, and both teams, or at least blue, got their turtle out right now, and it's gonna soak a lot of the tank fire and nullify caddy damage. Blue going for another harass. Yeah, Carbon's really spread out. No repair units to keep all their units at max HP. Does he die there? Nope. Yeah, blue team doesn't have any repair units, but they have an Osprey. And there's a grinder drop. And what a buster is starting to be dropped. Another butcher drop coming out. What's they gonna do? Hawk's gonna rotate the busters off from the low ground, and the butchers drop to where there's 0 gaddies on all of blue stuff. Yeah, there's only 1 Gemini and 1 Bucky there to shoot the ground. 2 busters there, and they drop butchers down here. Neo counter drop. Doesn't save any butchers. And yep, buster down. Carbon ahead in upkeep right now, while blue team is down, but they are using... Actually no, they're not using a lot of things. Blue is lacking a lot of tanks right now. They have a ton of support, but not actual tanks to hold them down. While Carbon has a lot of units, it's just that they aren't in a lot of active positions. Like potentially they could rotate these units off of here to help support this fight here, because these units are doing absolutely nothing. And trying to keep the blues unit count down by just trading out random units like butchers into it. Oh, I see them. They've already have Goliaths out, so now we're just gonna see those replace the tanks. 2 sergeant drop being dealt with. Hawk still building busters. Personally, I would probably save and go for Goliath, since blue, well, they only have 1 Goliath out, but it's really helping them support. I think that a good choice was until support just keeps harassing and there's nothing to counter that mech. They would need either AA or Gaddy spam or one of their mechs to land and shoot. But now Carbon's getting out their Goliath, but it's a bit too late. Blue already got mid and it's holding it right now. But there's a ton of busters here along the line. ProProProPro dies. There's a drop behind these Goliaths, and they're going to be dropping butchers down. Almost getting a kill on Happy Death. And Blue just lost control of this area. Generally because they didn't have good anti-mech and anti-butcher. And so their tanks just got destroyed by jumping mechs and infantry that traded well against tanks. And it could be similar situation could happen with blue against Carbon. Like potentially just Happy Death jumping around and then ProProProPro just healing him. Yeah, somewhat what he does when he flies around. And yeah, see these strong level mechs with strong abilities are now just tearing up all these early game units. I wouldn't be surprised if the transition into Goliath was harder. But Carbon clearly had right now higher in unit count, higher in upkeep, and generally better unit presence on the field, except they're not positioned the best. Like, I'd want to make at least these 2 busters and Goliaths more active. Because now, yeah, blue team ProProProPro is gonna try and micro and pick off some of those other units, but Sport drops death on Hawk kills Happy Death. Very cool. And yep, Carbon drops Grinder and Goliath. Don't know how successful that'll be. They might kill the Gaddy. Nope, they didn't kill the Gaddy. Interesting. Alright, Grinder drop. Does on both sides. I like Carbon's position right now. It's just, let's see if they can snowball the game. Another drop of creeps. Sport tried to harass. Will they lose that? Nope, they saved that Grinder. Good job. Yep, those are dying, yeah. Gaddy on the socket would have started healing it. Oh, they got a Gorgon out, and is Hawk still building busters? Because I wouldn't like to stay on busters like that. Like a couple misplaced, and that was only like 2 Goliaths shooting were able to kill that one buster, and if ProProProPro was watching it, he could easily re-microed it to save any Goliaths that could have been killed. That's why I would just upgrade out of these lower tier tanks. You just go into the best tank you have, which is Goliath right now, or seems to have. Much easier to micro and save a round. Say that easy to save that. Yep. If that was 2 busters, one of the busters would have been dead there. Yep. Then they rotate. That grinder's dead. That Goliath's being attacked by everything a lot of blue has. Will they save it? May or may not. Sport looks like we'll save it. Tesla's still there. And Carbon still has the higher tank count, generally. Another butcher drop. That kills that gen. I don't think they needed that extra gen there. But okay. Because unless you're gonna also focus a fight down here, that gen is just sitting there being useless. Now they're just gonna be able to cheese that. It's an obvious cheese. Will they notice that? Hawk might see it. No, he doesn't see it until they get that cheese off. Oh, it's Butcher, so it's not going to go inside the outpost, and the grinder can kind of counter them. And happydeath is securing that. See, Carbon has a lot of units that aren't doing anything right now. They need to be much more active with them, micromanage them. Ooh, those busters could have... Yeah, those were 4 busters against Goliaths, and you could have pulled up your own Goliaths. As long as you keep these Gaddy and Gorgons in range, you should be able to fend off a lot of the mechs. Any mech counter jumping, and you had a higher number of tanks that would have killed these off. So not the best decision making, in my opinion. Carbon trying to drop up here, but there's a Tesla here, and Carbon can just keep dropping units and healing them from that outpost. Yep, Sport's gonna pick off another Gaddy, but see now it's just 2 Goliaths, and how many tanks they have here? 3 Goliaths. Those alone would beat these 2. 3 beat 2, but Blue rotated another Goliath down here. They still have more tanks. Carbon still has more tanks. They just need to be active with them. Like it's okay to be a bit inaccurate with your buster placement. Just bring up a Goliath to shield up. Shield for HP. This buster dropped here to neutralize that. But this is it's clearly obvious. Just move up all your tanks so they shoot and kill these couple tanks. You have so many, like twice as many units. Why aren't you killing them? Now they're pulling back, and you can't do that anymore. Like even if they did pull back, you could have killed some of them. Here it is. 1 counter, drop Goliath, and now they're all here. And I'm not the biggest fan of Gorgon right now. I would rather just build a Goliath in his place and just have good mech versus mech. Well, that's my opinion, because, like, see these Gorgons here? 3 Gorgons doing nothing because there's no mechs around them. And there's no mechs flying over Carbon's units. And, yep, these 2 kill the 1. Really obvious. Carbon isn't taking care of their units the best. And this would be, and this also Gorgon's not doing anything right now, too. If you have good mech v mech skills, you don't need to be building a lot of AA. And those extra Goliaths would be able to help push them back. Because Blue's always had like less units for the entire game, just Carbon hasn't been able to capitalize against it correctly by positioning their own units to be active, because more units beats less units. It's not that complicated, in my opinion. Oh, that Buster gets a random kill. They might want to replace an add-in caddy here. Yeah, a lot of random trailer units that could be more moved over here and be active. And see this is what Blue's doing better than Carbon is, trying to be active with their units. Like they tried to pick off that 1 Goliath, they got 1 killed, and Carbon had 3 Goliaths there. It's just that they didn't have good mech control to save them. This Goliath might die there, almost, but now it's a 3v1 for that drop, and another one dies there. happydeath drops and gets that kill. Come on, you can get that consolation, Gaddy. Just drop a tank and you don't need to land to get your mech there. Just take the buster with you and drop it to counter the gaddy, and then you don't need to babysit it with your mech. Because in that situation, if Sport brought a buster with him, he could have dropped that and then just kept shooting in the air trying to get happy death. Hawk gets a kill on ProProProPro. And let's see. They're gonna get that one. But now it's starting to get even upkeep now. When it was pretty clear in multiple points of the game that Carbon was ahead and unit and upkeep wise. It's just them be able to take advantage of that. It's unfortunate. Because there's nothing special between them right now. It's pretty even matchup. You see the unit comps are pretty much the same. Gaddy tank, and support, which is either AA or a bit of repair for a blue team. Yeah, something special. Happy that's moving around. Will both teams go Whopper? Looks like not yet. Maybe they might have a gentleman's agreement to not go Whopper. Blue's doing a silly push. There's a Sports a Neo. Does he have missile redirect? Yeah, he does. So he could be getting those. I don't know, maybe they could have gotten comms, because if Hawk just rotated all their units on this edge here, it would be perfect to counter harass here. And that's a good, decent position for those. Because this is a big giveaway from Blue, since it's 2/3 of this is just AA, which doesn't shoot ground, and Carbon already has a ton of tanks. And yeah, they didn't lose much up here. And then you see the upkeep in unit cap hitting back here again. Carbon's at upkeep cap, probably higher unit count, but of course it hides because thank you, because quality replay UI. Yeah, so they're almost twice as many units. I mean, our army value and upkeep. They're just not using it right. They need to push off Blue, which only has 2 tanks. They have tons of tanks. They could push them off right now if they move up everything. Sport almost dies, doesn't die, of course. And then, yep, Happy Death dies trying to confirm that kill. Now Blue is pretty clearly behind. Hawk's going booster now. What an odd time to bring it out. Not doing anything special. And they got another kill on ProProProPro. They're gonna get that, snipe that. Nope, they didn't snipe the Ratchet, but they should be moving up more. Like it's a Neo and Helix team. Neo could be harassing on the ground while the Helix just moves up. Like this is, if Carbon has so many more tanks than Blue. I don't know why they're not pushing or microing harder to move up their units. Going for another, does another drop. Come on, you could have took that fight. Just drop down the healthy Goliath down there, then you can AFK it. Looks like Carbon almost has the middle secured, but they aren't there yet. Sport almost, but doesn't get that kill there. The Carbon, no, Blue team's always generally in this game been more efficient with their units, unless they do terrible pushes. They're able to get like a couple snipes of Carbon's units to pick off their units. And then see, this is what Carbon should be doing more of themselves. They dropped these 4 glides here, and they easily just destroy those 2 busters that were there. And now they're able to push up and forward into there. But they could have been doing this a long time ago. Now Blue has a Devastator, and it's going to get even more bland and boring. Yeah, it looks like both teams on Whoppers now. That's quality gameplay. Yeah. Riveting gameplay design. Make it the mechanics are set up where it's beneficial to build a unit that does nothing, just sits there, looks pretty. You know, this position from Carbon's still very playable. They just need to be, I keep saying it, more active with their units. Their units are doing nothing here. You need to move them up. Like a double line at least. Now see, this concave here is just gonna absolutely blast these 2 tanks here, and Sport's gonna counter jump harass. They can, and then the creeps go in that outpost and provide even more distraction. Oh well. Random bear traps now coming out from someone, don't know who. Yeah, another unit's thrown away. And once again, same unit count, carbon higher upkeep value. They're just not using their units right. Blue team could probably play the long game since they clearly have Devastator. I don't know if Carbon will go into a Devastator mirror. Like, they're on comms right now. If they were communicating, Hawk could be doing. Why are they going Bertha? You already have a ton more units. You don't need to be using a unit that takes a long time to get value. Because now it's a 1v2 now, and now they put all their army up in there. One less player helping. Oh, that's not the best position. It's not a lot of counter. No, they have a random turtle drop there. It may work out in the end, but I'm not sure. Blue already on a second Devastator, dropping grinders and random stuff. Yeah, it's not the best position. And that Bertha's doing nothing now too. If that was another Goliath, that wasn't the best. That's a whole lot of it was Gorgons. You should have relied more on your mech v mech, and then you could have more Goliath firepower to deal with these Devastators. Because Blue hasn't really gone that heavy AA, and you've been seeing how decent they were. Granted, they are dying a lot, and there's that one random throwaway down there, but if Carbon, now Carbon's the one behind now. They were ahead for most of the game, what the heck. And now Blue also has Necros too. You do deserve to lose if you fail at being in a winning position and closing out the game. I mean, instead of like pushing up that top area at that moment, I would have probably just try to secure mid more, because that's not an outpost that they can hover, that blue team is already captured. Or even if they were attacking it, they should have tried focusing on neutralizing that. So it would have been harder to get heals on their units or dropping out more random units like butchers from there. But now Carbon looks like they're in a losing position. I mean, they are clearly in a losing position now that Bertha isn't doing much now still. Look at it, it's just sitting there looking pretty. They're going for attempted cheese. Happy Death responds to it. Man, Latimus. Yeah, in my opinion, would probably win the blue team, besides having a strategy for the long game and having Devastators and Necros to play the super long game and punish any bad moves, is that Carbon isn't playing the best. No, they're not on anything special. Because Carbon did multiple. We're doing nothing for a long period of time, or doing like major throwaways. Well, our blue team has been relatively consistent the entire match. Happy Death almost focused down there. And once again, Carbon's making their units active, and it's actually doing something. Alright, a random drop there. Yeah, Carbon team doesn't have that much time to have decent comeback windows, since blue team has a superior loadout choice in having Devastator, which is a unit that's valuable and like super late, and they failed to save that Goliath, and now they're even more behind. I do not see a way for Carbon to come back in this position, even with like a ton of mech kills or anything, unless they do a secret side push of some sort to push down the fortress. Because blue team's just out microing them right now. It's relatively the same value of tanks, and you see blue team isn't using a lot of AA themselves, so they have an even higher tank count, and even the artillery isn't doing much. They get that one kill at least, so they're just trying to push out for the cheese. Alright, ProProProPro trying to bring Devastator to support. I mean, if that one Goliath shooting, just take your one Devastator, plop it down there, and it'll deal with it, but they already moved that one tank. Blue has pretty much secured this middle outpost, or should be. ProProPro has enough to afford another Devastator, if he notices. Get that building. Yeah, he looks like he got that building now. Let's see. Yeah, just neutralizing that. A little late to do that. He's still very far behind. Come on, micro that right. They might be able to get that Devastator kill, I guess not. Ooh, looks like, yeah, if you're already in a winning position, just hit the win more button. Or you have freedom to do whatever to try and win. And he dies with 3 gangsters in his thing. That's 3 tanks dead.
Outpost down.
Yep, they get that. That Devastator there. How many Devastators are on? 3 Devastators. They could easily heal and save some of these. Yeah, because it's a clear loadout choice, and these Berthas and Gorgons haven't been doing much for Carbon. Like the Gorgons don't shoot that often. They're not doing their AA oral that often. Like, you could justify them more if you're doing like these move ups more often. See if those Gorgons were mid shooting ProProProPro. But they need to coordinate that better and probably double micro to move all those units. Bertha's still doing nothing. This one just, they're both aimed at the outpost, and there's clearly no blue units at that outpost. Yep, they healed that. And Happy Death's just gonna go for a drop. Kill that, just pick off that one Goliath, because they're free to do so. Still on 3 Goliaths. Net Helix trying to get a kill again. And Happy Death. Oh, he gets a level up and heals. Come on. And you need to shoot any one of them. Yep, they get him killed there. And Happy Death just there. Oh, he reveals himself. And those AA still proven to be of very little worth. They don't fire that often. Yeah, do this. Come on, coordinate. Yep, this is what I want to see more of, what they should have been doing more of all game. Hawk helps support microing the units while Sport just goes around jumping and distracting all the tanks. They should do that more often, but they're not doing it. Still on 3 Devastators. They can't kill that Gen, because the Osprey, fair and balanced, fun unit. Just hold right mouse. And Carbon stabilized. They're back at matching the upkeep of blue team, but of course, blue team has Devastators, is kind of inflates it, or at least lets them, yeah, have much more valuable units for upkeep use. If Carbon's not using their 70 upkeep worth of units that well, yeah, they're just getting pushed for this. Come on, Hawk. You should have missile cooldown. You need to kill ProProProPro. You need to get a missile burst on him. It's possible to missile burst through all that healing. And Sport does the thing. Yep. And that's the thing that should be doing, like, all the time. Come on, they can kill this. Use this moment and kill all the blue stuff. Yep. Mistake from blue. One part and dying in that. Oh, there, they might save it. Come on, you notice that he's there. Nice pushback. Although it doesn't even help the upkeep situation that much. Carbon just needs to use their units. Seeing that position was automatically set up for Carbon to use all their units, like all of their tanks versus the split up of Blue's army. And naturally in that, where Blue's moving into Carbon and Carbon was sitting there, that's when all of Carbon's army was being useful. And they need to make their army active, like this, all this entire upkeep of units active. Because Blue isn't really pushed back that far. They're back to the 3 Devastator and Goliath portion, which they haven't been able to push back, even though they have more upkeep, more units. Oh, they might get that. Nope. ProProProPro saves it. And they get his kill there. Ooh, stasis there. Nope, still didn't save that goal. And now Carbon's moving up. You need to move up the right units. Yeah, decent. Get up in there and eat. Just keep distracting. Decent position, yes, and now they're moving back up. What the heck, it's still 3 Devastator? Damn. Blue's pretty good. Now they're doing the thing where they distract. These 2 Gorgons doing nothing, of course, as you do. That's the reason you built them, just to sit there and look pretty. ability to drop those glides into those Devastators without properly supporting or distracting. And now Carbon's pushed back again. They looked like they were in a great position when they had all their tanks here that killed the terrible placement by Blue, and now they're pushed back again, and now they're back into a horrible position. Ugh. Pretty basic. Another Butcher drop. Just only a Gorgon there. Yeah, it doesn't do that much. Oh, it's shooting through the outpost anyways. Yeah, how many tanks? 1, 2, 3? Only 3 Goliaths right now versus 3 Devastators? Absolutely no. You shouldn't come back from this position. But with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 Gorgon and Berthas, if they were Goliaths, they would still have a chance to push these back with proper mech back. Because it's still a 2v2 with mechs. You just need good mech versus mech control. And you wouldn't need this AA support. And it's too late in the game to be using artillery too. You can see that they have Devastator. Unless you're using the artillery smartly, like pull them down here to keep that outpost neutral or another outpost neutral. Because then they would be behind. Blue team would be behind in the credits, in income, and then the potential maximum upkeep. And that looks like they went back into busters. And you see this move up? Very good move up. Now Sport can distract a bit. But then there's another Devastator drop. Careful, careful. Yep, rotate, good rotation. But these Gorgons still doing nothing. They're like not far behind these Goliaths, and they still ain't in range of shooting mechs. That's how much they're doing. They're still doing nothing. It's up looking pretty. If you had 4 more, if these Gorgons were Goliaths, you'd be in so much more better position. Now they're going for a Goliath drop. I mean, you have gangsters in your loadout, and you're going for a Goliath drop. Okay, okay, Chief. I mean, far ahead. Blue team is ahead, and they can go for these pretty looking moves. Carbon has not been using their units that well, and Blue, it's fair for Blue to not be that active with their units since they have Devastator. And interesting there. Oh, I think that was the thing that Hawk mentioned in the Discord call. I mean, in the Discord conversation, it was how he killed his ally. He killed Sport because happydeath was using the missile jam, and so the missiles were shooting at Sport, and that's how he killed him. It counted as happydeath killing him. I think that's what the record said. I might want to review the video and see what it is, but whatever. Match is still going on. Blue justifiably can play this super boring game of just slowly turning their army into Devastators. Carbon is on the one who has pressure to do something, and they haven't been shown the ability to do that this whole game, where they're able to make use of this entire ball of units. Like, what is this? There's only 4 tanks there, so that's like 40 upkeep of units just doing nothing here. What the heck? Like, even these Berthos are barely firing that much. God. Nothing. And now Blue can do this because they have a high Devastator count. And these tanks are still not in position. What the heck? Only that one Goliath is shooting, and the second one. And they're able to save that. Man, they've been doing that much damage for Goliath drop stand. Hilariously, the only time when Blue's doing bad is when they're pushing out in the Carbon, doing something with their units. Because when they push out, or when they move their units to be in range of Carbon's units are actually doing something. He doesn't die there, and of course, very unbalanced Kiwi heal for Osprey, which is better than all the other mechs. They might save that. Nope, they don't notice that. Didn't save it. Now in this silly situation, it's 3 Goliaths down here against 5 Devastators now? Hilarious. They just need to heal those, spend some time healing those, and then you could just bury them up. Or you could do that. That works too. 80 upkeep to 62, more units beats less units. How smart were you guys in school? Were you guys the masters of this? Do you guys know that more beats less? Yeah. Yeah, moving at Devastator speed now too. Yeah, more of these Gorgons. Yeah, Gorgons. Doing nothing. And now if they were Goliaths, they could shoot the other Goliaths back. But yeah. AA good, no. That's why I don't like building a lot of AA myself. Out of those Goliaths. See, nothing, Blue died yet. They killed the 3 Goliaths, it seems. Oh, they got 1 gangster to kill, that's something. Now Blue's just gonna beat him with this death push, since Carbon has been effective. But they're at upkeep cap, and they still can't do anything. Carbon's at upkeep cap, and they don't have the right. And the units still aren't able to do anything. Look at that. Full 60 units doing nothing to this push, just like barely anything attacking. These Gorgons being useless. These Berthas not being cost effective. Now we're just gonna see this fortress melt by a ton of tanks. Nothing special, you haven't seen that anywhere. It's like every single AirMech game. Tanks. Ugh. Alright. Good job, Blue. You had a plan, clear plan with the Devastator. Just stall out the game and win. Fair plan, it wins games, it works. Carbon, you had an advantage in multiple positions where you're ahead in upkeep and unit count. This is the score screen. Carbon could have won. They were in for a lot of moments in that match. They were in a position to win, but they didn't. Oh, Hawk didn't die once. That's pretty cool. Mech killing. Yeah, that's the Blue had more ground v ground since they didn't build that much AA. Well, Carbon just overinvested in AA. That wasn't doing much. Like, their mechs were already killing enough, but every time I looked at those Gorgons, they weren't shooting nothing. And the most things killed that was doing all the killing, as shown on this score screen, is Hawk was the one doing all the killing, not the AA units. If those AA units were more tanks, they could have had the numbers to just brain dead beat Blue. More tanks beats less tanks. Nothing much to it. That should be it for that game. 3-month promise. Very late. Kind of a jerk move to be doing it now, but whatever. I felt like I didn't do it, so I just did it.